It all started on a quiet Sunday morning. Miriam sat on the edge of a bed, staring at the divorce papers. After 12 years, love had vanished from her home, leaving only ashes of silence. Her husband, Daniel, once her best friend, had become a stranger who barely noticed her. They lived under the same roof, but in two different worlds, she with her memories, he with his phone. There was a time he called her sunshine and left notes on the mirror saying, "You're my reason to smile." But lately, all he left were receipts and excuses. The fights started small late-night work calls, unanswered messages, his disinterest in family dinners, but they soon turned into storms. The more she cried, the more distant he became. The man who once held her hand now scrolled past her pain. One night, after another cold argument, Daniel said the words that shattered her world. "Maybe we made a mistake getting married." She stood there frozen, her heart breaking quietly. The next morning, she packed her bags, determined to stop begging for a love that no longer wanted to stay. Months later, the divorce papers arrived, but destiny wasn't done with them. A week later, Miriam got a call. It was Daniel's sister. He'd been in an accident. Without thinking, she rushed to the hospital. When she saw him lying there pale, bruised, and vulnerable, her anger melted away. She held his hand, and memories flooded back. Their first date, their wedding vows, their laughter. For the first time in months, Daniel looked at her with genuine eyes and whispered, "You came." That one word broke her heart all over again. Over the next few weeks, Miriam stayed by his side, helping him recover. She fed him soup, adjusted his pillows even, though they were no longer husband and wife. The nurses began whispering, calling her the ex-wife, who never stopped loving him. Every night, as Daniel slept, Miriam wondered if love could be reborn after betrayal. One evening, he woke up and said softly, "Miriam, I saw everything clearly when I thought I might die. I ruined what mattered most. I lost you because I stopped seeing you." She didn't respond, just wiped his tears and whispered, "Some lessons come too late." But fate had its own timing. Daniel recovered slowly, and on the day he was discharged, he asked her to have coffee. "As friends," he said. That coffee turned into conversations, conversations into laughter, and laughter into a flicker of the love they once had. But Miriam had changed. She was no longer the woman who begged for attention. She had built her strength through heartbreak, and Daniel saw that. He started showing up with apologies, flowers, and honesty. One evening, as rain poured outside, he finally said, "I don't deserve a second chance. But I want one." She stared out the window for a long time before answering. "You don't get second chances. You earn them." And so began their slow rebuilding. It was awkward at first, filled with doubts. They went to therapy, talked about things they'd buried, and faced the ghosts of their marriage. For the first time, Daniel truly listened. He learned her silence, spoke louder than her words. Miriam stopped expecting perfection and started demanding respect. Their love was no longer a fairy tale. It was a scar healed by honesty. A year after their divorce, they met again at the same courthouse, this time not to separate, but to remarry quietly. When the judge asked, "Do you both wish to unite again in marriage?" they looked at each other and smiled through tears. "Yes," Miriam said, her voice trembling. Daniel took her hand and whispered, "This time, I'll never let go." Their families were shocked, but happiness bloomed where sorrow once lived. They moved back into their old home, repainted the walls, replaced broken frames, and planted flowers in the garden they had once neglected. Life wasn't suddenly perfect. They still argued, but now they fought to stay, not to leave. One night, sitting on the porch, Daniel said, "I used to think love dies, but I was wrong. It doesn't die. It waits for us to find it again." Miriam smiled and replied, "Love doesn't need perfect people, just willing hearts." Years later, their daughter found the old divorce papers in a photo album. When she asked why they kept them, Miriam said, "So we never forget what almost destroyed us and what brought us back." It became a symbol of their journey from pride to humility, from silence to forgiveness, from separation to a stronger love reborn through pain. Sometimes, life takes away what you thought was yours, just to return it when you were ready to value it. For Miriam and Daniel, divorce wasn't the end. It was the mirror that showed them who they truly were. And in that reflection, they found the version of love they'd been searching for all along, flawed, real, and everlasting. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the beautiful complexities of life and love. We'll see you in the next video.